Hey, how you doing, guys and gals? I hope you're all having an awesome day today. As always, welcome to part 2 of manufacturers that build other crazy things that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Let's get started. As in the first video, we will mainly be focusing on motor manufacturers in this list. However, I'm also going to throw in there a manufacturer that you've definitely heard of, but don't necessarily produce motors, at least not in the traditional sense. Honda. Similar to Kawasaki, Honda are involved in a wide range of industries. Although they are mostly well known for their ultra-reliable cars and motorcycles, they are also large-scale manufacturers of watercraft vessels, ATVs, aircraft, mountain bikes, lawnmowers, and solar panels. Honda are also leading research in robotics tech and humanoid robots. Unlike Yamaha and Kawasaki, Honda started as a motorcycle manufacturer from the get-go. The founder of Honda, Soichiro Honda, started his first business in producing piston rings for internal combustion engines in 1937. However, it was short-lived due to the Second World War and an earthquake that rendered the business useless. After the war, Honda then started retrofitting small generator engines to bicycles in 1946, which then culminated in Honda's first motorcycle, or motorized bicycle, in 1947, the Type A. Then, in 1949, Honda made its first proper motorcycle, fully developed and manufactured in-house, the D-Type. In the 1950s, Honda became the market leader in Japan for motorcycles. Then in 1959, Honda motorcycles started selling and becoming popular in the US. As their popularity grew, Honda entered the car industry in the early 1960s, primarily focusing on race cars. However, the production of commercial and domestic vehicles started around the same time. The 1970s proved to be a very successful decade for Honda, as they released the first generation Honda Civic in 1972 and continued to grow sales and production across the globe. Honda entered Formula One in 1988 and have proved to be a formidable engine manufacturer for F1 cars to this day. Robotics and aircraft are fairly recent ventures for Honda. Their first humanoid robot, the Asimo, or the advanced step in innovative mobility robot, became a worldwide celebrity in the early 2000s, and their first passenger jet only just took flight from 2015. Honda have motorcycles in their blood, it seems. No wonder they're so good. Samsung. Smartphone and electronics giant from South Korea, Samsung is a market leader in electronics and the cellular phone industries, as everyone knows. Apart from manufacturing appliances such as washing machines, printers, vacuum cleaners, they are also involved with many other industries, more notably contracts with the South Korean government and microchip manufacturing. Samsung is one of the biggest microchip manufacturers in the world, alongside TSMC from Taiwan and Intel in the US. It's more than likely the device you're watching this video from right now has something that was made by Samsung, whether it's the RAM, your phone's storage memory, its CPU, or even the screen. Even Apple, the world's largest cell phone retailer, buy iPhone screens and microchips from Samsung. Samsung are also involved with heavy industries such as cargo ships and oil vessels, and construction projects in South Korea. They've even built their own cars and helicopter engines in the past, however they stopped manufacturing these in the late 90s and early 2000s. In terms of Samsung's work with the government, they supply the South Korean army with tanks, artillery, howitzers and amphibious assault vehicles. Samsung's K9 Thunder and K10 ARVs, or ammunition resupply vehicles, are also being used by the Polish and Turkish armies. The Samsung defense industry started back in 1983. Man, Samsung is one huge, crazy company. Sorry Apple, Samsung is way more badass than you. Hyundai. Another car brand you've probably heard of, Hyundai, or Hyundai as pronounced in the US, happens to be the third largest shipbuilder in the world, and they have the third largest dry dock in the world. Hyundai started as a construction firm back in the late 40s, then they moved to manufacturing cars in the late 1960s. They then formed the Heavy Industries division that specialized in the manufacturing and export of a variety of vessels, from yachts to supertankers to naval vessels in the 70s. Hyundai also manufactured diesel and electric locomotives, freight cars, and passenger coaches. Hyundai today are also an electronics manufacturer, although they're not currently well known for their electronics as fellow South Korean electronics giant Samsung. Other things Hyundai produce include elevators, excavators, forklifts, robotics, and offshore oil rigs. Even though Hyundai subsidiaries became separate companies in the mid-2000s after internal feuds and the founder died in 2001, they are still owned and run by family relatives. If the Hyundai Group were ever to reform into a single enterprise again, it would be the single largest company in South Korea, even bigger than Samsung. It's quite interesting that even though there's a lot of information out there about the Hyundai Motor Company, there doesn't seem to be all that much information out there about the group's history or its subsidiaries. That does it for part 2 in this video series. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and I found it as interesting as I did. Let me know in the comments section if there are any more companies you would like me to cover. As always, like, share and all the usual stuff. Thanks again for watching and for your support. We'll see you in the next video.